Hello, it's Miss Emma. Rapid writing is just a 5-minute activity that leads you into writing for a purpose. I would do this with teenagers who have, or university students. It doesn't matter of the level of literacy. What I'm checking is their phonemic awareness, which makes them a lot better as teachers, if we're doing this with teachers, because it helps them understand how we talk on paper, how the phonemes map with the graphemes on paper, which means they can become better teachers. So I would do rapid writing when I'm doing teacher training, and you would find that a lot of teachers struggle with it because it is the beginning part when you've got to write in speech sound lines. It's pure phonemic awareness, and teachers have often been so confused with syllables or onset and rhyme or whatever else, instead of the one thing that matters for reading and spelling, which is your smallest units, which is the phonemic awareness. So this is an overview of rapid writing. Now the first 30 seconds or so, you show them the image, and I want them to throw out brilliant, wonderful language or descriptive words. So we're really thinking about that vocab. That's a great way to start the session. In rapid writing, choose an image. It can be an image that evokes great oral language. I've just here chosen this because it just happens to be a book that I was doing an activity on. But you might choose this. This might be a lead into reading this story. So they're going to look at the picture, and then as a class or a group, or if you're working on a one-to-one with somebody, and they're going to think of a sentence. It doesn't matter what the sentence is, because this is nothing to do with phonics or code level. So have 30 seconds straight away when they just call out words, exhilaration, surprise, shock, whatever words they think of when they look at an image. Then the sentence. So they think of a sentence. Let's say the sentence that they decided was, the girl was floating through the air. Let's say that. So then what they all do on their own, the girl, was, out, it, floating, through, the air. So they're thinking about, how am I going to organise it on my board? And if the child has poor working memory, just keep repeating it. This isn't a hold a sentence activity. They don't have to remember that on their own. The girl was floating in the air. So you can just repeat it. The girl was floating in the air. But the thing for this activity is it's for phonemic awareness. So then you want to see them doing their rapid lines. The girl, the girl, was, out, it, floating. What was the next part of the line, miss? The girl was floating in the air. That's fine, you can tell them. Then they'll track it back. The girl was floating, out, it, in the air. And it also means that if you've got a word that children might say differently with their accents, whatever, they might do different lines. But this is why it's so important that you're actually seeing what the children are doing. So they're not doing numbers on that. It doesn't matter about numbers on that. What matters is that they're doing speech sound sentences. Then they can play it back. Or duck hand it back. Girl, was, out, it, floating, it, in, the air. The girl was floating in the air. Now, dyslexic learners have phonemic awareness deficits. Your struggling readers and spellers have this issue. And so when teachers are focused on phonics, they're failing to recognise that a child who has poor phonemic awareness and cannot do this is going to struggle with phonics. If you want a child to understand phonics, this is really, really important. So please don't think that the phonics and the letters is the most important thing here. It really, really is not. Now then what you need to do is, the easiest thing is for you to actually write it on the board. As you are writing it on the board, you're giving the sounds. The girl, was, out, it, floating, it, in, the air. The girl was floating in the air. Now the children can look at that, or they can not. They can have turned around and not, because some of the children will want to try the sound picks on here on their own. Some of the children will want to see it. It's up to the children. They're all different. It's not necessarily their capabilities. It might be to do with their confidence. But it's up there on the board for them to see, and they've got their speech sound lines, so they're going to map it. So if they choose to look at it, because supposing I can't remember how to spell, or I'm not sure how to spell floating, and I don't want to have a go, or perhaps I want to have a go foot, and I'm not sure, I'll refer to that. Oh, it's an OA. So they're going to fill all of that in. Then what you'll do is, when the class is ready or halfway or whatever the children need it, then you're going to, either with the children, it depends on the kids you have, you're going to visually show the girl, was, floating, in the air. Remember, this is a 5-minute activity. You could do this as a half-an-hour activity, in which case you take with the class, you're working out what it could be, what have you. But this is a fast 5-minute activity. It's look at the picture, talk about it for about 30 seconds, choose a sentence. The children do their speech sound lines. They check it. You write the sentence on the board. They can choose, whilst you're saying the sounds, they can choose if they're going to look at it or not. They fill in their lines and then you will check. This is a 5-minute activity. Now, when you've got children, your high-level children, so they've already done this, and you've got other children who are still working on it. Girl, was, floating, in the other air. So the children who are your blue level children, whatever, would actually look, supposing they chose not to look at yours, then when they've done it, they're going to look at yours. Did I do the same picture? So they're self-editing, they're self-checking. I say this is very differentiated. They're not, none of the children are doing anything they can't do, and you're supporting them, scaffolding them, so you're giving them the information they do need. The children who finish that, the girl was floating in the air, can either go around and help the other children, or they just carry on. The girl was floating in the air because she, blah, 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 whatever. So every child is busy all the time. Now, this is a Prep Year 1 planning. This is your 2-hour literacy block that covers every strand of the Australian curriculum. With regards to your writing for a purpose, most teachers are told what they need to do by their school or their HOC or what have you. And if not, I can't put that in here because it really should be dependent on the children that you have with regards to what you do in there. I've made sure you've got everything else and all the other activities. So really that session should be bringing it all together in real writing, real exciting, wonderful writing. As they move through to phase 3, which should be before grade 2, then you are doing your writing for a purpose becomes a 50-minute session because they're no longer doing their phonics coding poster or their phonics lesson. So you've got more time every day to alternate between their writing for a purpose, 45-50 minutes, and cracking comprehension. But at that stage it is dependent on what the students need. It's why it's called writing for a purpose. What is the purpose? What do your students need? And it's also about real writing. It means the children need to have chance to plan, then to write, then to self-edit within the same session. If the children write and then stop and then you mark it at home, you're missing the opportunity for real learning, because often they're just rehashing what they spell incorrectly, how they punctuate incorrectly. So this chance to self-edit is the chance when you can give immediate feedback. That part of the session is vital. So please, when it comes to writing for a purpose, that's your time when it must be structured so the children plan what they're going to write, they write it, and then they have chance to self-edit and to listen to your immediate feedback. They need to self-edit during that session whilst it's fresh. Anyway, I hope that helps. I did upload a mini conductor course to ssptraining.org, which is $35, so you can see all the SSP activities. So Prep Year 1 teachers just need their class teaching pack and to follow this routine.